I stood there in the living room, the one I designed, the one I paid for, while my in-laws sat around like they owned the place. They didn't even try to hide the smug looks on their faces. My wife was on the couch, arms crossed, wearing that little smirk I'd grown to hate. "You need to leave," her dad said, acting like he had any real authority. His voice carried that fake confidence he always used when he thought he had the upper hand. He went on, "The house, the cars, the business, it's all in her name now. There's nothing left for you here." I let out a slow breath and felt the edge of the envelope in my pocket. This was it, the moment I'd been waiting on. I looked each of them dead in the eye. My wife, her dad, her mom, and her lazy brother. They thought they'd beaten me, thought I was done, but they had no clue what was coming their way. It all started 7 months back. Her family had always been overbearing and controlling. They hated the fact that I'd built everything myself, that I didn't come from some fancy background like they did. So when they floated the idea of moving all my assets into my wife's name for protection, I should have seen it coming. But I didn't fight it. I played along. I let them think they were pulling the strings. My wife would whisper how much she loved me, how it was all just paperwork, how we'd always share everything no matter what. I still remember the look in her dad's eyes when I signed those papers, like he'd just won the jackpot. Her mom looked like the cat who got the cream. And her brother? That clown couldn't stop grinning. They thought they'd taken everything from me. But they overlooked one little detail. I read every word of every contract I signed. The night I found out she was cheating, I didn't even feel angry. I didn't feel heartbroken. Just cold clarity. She thought she was being slick, using business trips and fake meetings to cover her tracks. But people like her always mess up. One time she left her phone where she shouldn't have. Another time I walked in on a whisper that didn't stop soon enough. That's when it all clicked. This wasn't just about greed. It was about wiping me out completely. That night, lying beside her while she slept, I stared at the ceiling and made up my mind. I wasn't just going to walk away. I was going to make sure they burned first. My first move was protecting myself. And that's where they screwed up. On the last page of that contract they handed me, there was a clause, buried in the legal fluff. It said if she ever cheated, every single asset would transfer right back to me. They didn't catch it, but I sure did. I spent weeks gathering proof. Photos, screenshots, bank statements. Enough to crush her in court. Then I moved my money around, liquidated what I could, took back ownership of things they didn't even know existed. And I waited, patiently, until now. "You need to leave," her father repeated, this time more forcefully. Getting impatient, I pulled the envelope out of my pocket. Took a second. Let the silence build. Then I dropped it on the coffee table. "What's this?" my wife said with a sneer as she grabbed the papers. She flipped through them, and I watched her face change. First confusion, then shock, then panic. "Surprised?" I asked, tilting my head a bit. "You shouldn't be. You were so eager to take it all, but you never once stopped to wonder if I'd seen this coming." Her dad yanked the papers from her hands. His face turned beet red as he read. "Infidelity clause," I said plainly. I could see the words hit like a slap. "Everything you tried to steal? It's back in my hands now." The room fell dead quiet. Thick, tense silence. "You bastard," her brother yelled as he lunged at me. I calmly stepped aside. He stumbled like the idiot he is. "You planned this," my wife whispered, eyes wide like she'd just seen a ghost. I leaned in, my voice cold and steady. "Of course I did." Her mom grabbed her husband's arm in a panic. "There has to be a way around this. There has to be." "There's not," I cut in. "It's airtight. You'd know that, if any of you had actually bothered to read what you made me sign." Her dad slammed the papers down. "This won't hold up in court. We've got better lawyers than you could ever dream of." I smiled. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Because that was phase 2 exposure. The media. The public. Once this story hits the headlines, every dirty little detail, her cheating, their manipulation, their fraud, would be out there for the world to see. Their oh-so-precious reputation? Gone. And then I made my final move. "You've got 24 hours to get out of this house," I said, calm and deadly serious. "I want you gone." My wife's mouth opened, but nothing came out. "I own everything now," I continued. "The house, the cars, the accounts. You've got nothing left." She started to shake. Her father looked like he was going to blow a fuse. Her mother clutched her pearls like we were in some soap opera. And her brother just sat there, stunned, like he finally realized the gravy train had hit the end of the line. I turned and walked toward the door, paused for just a second to deliver the last line. "You tried to erase me," I said, slow and steady. Took one last breath. Now you get to watch as I erase you. Then I walked out. Never looked back.